What can a boning knife do? This cook has superb skills. With a swift motion, he splits a whole roasted lamb in two, separating meat from bone. With a few more slashes, horizontally and vertically, a plate of neatly arranged lamb is ready. His speed and knife skills are flawless, truly masterful. The cook is a dab hand at chopping vegetables, but even more adept at chopping people. Even the masters of the Eastern Depot fell victim to his slicing and dicing, meeting their end under his parent-child swords. The parent-child swords are a pair of swords, one large, one small. The shorter child blade is concealed within the hilt of the larger parent blade. One long, one short, they can be used for both attack and defense. In attack, the two blades switch unpredictably, sharp enough to cut through iron, leaving the enemy with no chance to defend. They are the essential weapon for punishing evil and eliminating treachery. During the Jingtai era of the Ming Dynasty, eunuchs held sway over the court. The head eunuch of the Eastern Depot, Charles, held the reins of power, controlling the emperor, establishing his own private court, and purging dissenters. Anyone who dared to oppose him was executed without mercy. The officials seethed with anger but dared not speak out. Only Eugene, the minister of war, remained righteous and unyielding. He submitted a written petition to the emperor, urging him to shut down the Eastern Depot and punish Charles. Upon discovering this, the Eastern Depot fabricated an imperial edict and had Eugene's entire family executed, leaving only his son and daughter to be banished beyond the border. In truth, they planned to use the children as bait to lure out Zachary, Eugene's trusted confidant, and eliminate them all. Molly, a wandering swordswoman, was Zachary's close friend. To help Zachary out of danger, she decided to help him rescue the two children. Charles had already laid a trap, just waiting for Zachary to appear. However, Zachary did not show up. The Eastern Depot's plan had failed. After a bloody battle, Molly and the swordsman rescued the children and fled into the desert. They agreed to meet at the Dragon Gate Inn. The Dragon Gate Inn was located deep in the desert, a place teeming with shady characters. It was a den of thieves. Those who ended up here were up to no good. The innkeeper, Jasmine, was a ruthless character herself. At this moment, a guest tried to take advantage of her, only to fall into her trap in the next second. He was hit by a hidden weapon and lost his life. Not only did he fail to take advantage, but he was also turned into human meat buns and served on the table. As soon as Molly and the others arrived at the inn, Jasmine sensed something was amiss. She tried to pry into their business, but couldn't get any useful information. When it was time to eat, Molly took a bite of a bun and quickly realized there was something wrong with the filling. Another group at the inn tried to take advantage of the situation, but they were no match for Molly. They were quickly defeated by Molly and fled. Jasmine was unconvinced. That night, she went up to the roof and saw Molly taking a bath. The two of them got into a fight. In the ensuing fight, not only did Jasmine fail to gain the upper hand, but she was also beaten onto the roof. Just then, Zachary also arrived at the inn. He saw Molly as soon as he entered. The affectionate looks they exchanged made Jasmine jealous. That night, Zachary found Jasmine, hoping to find out a way to cross the border. Jasmine stammered and tried to evade him, and even tried to seduce him. Zachary felt uneasy and decided to leave the inn that night. However, it started to rain heavily outside. The three division chiefs of the Eastern Depot, disguised and accompanied by a group of experts, also tracked them to the inn. The head chief was not only a skilled martial artist, but also sinister and cunning. He led his men to search the inn and stumbled upon a horrifying scene in the kitchen. They saw the cook pick up his boning knife and point it at a hanging corpse, gouging out eyes, peeling skin, severing the head, hacking wildly. They watched, their blood running cold. This was even more brutal than what they did at the Eastern Depot. At that moment, three forces stood in a delicate balance. Outside the inn, the storm raged. Inside, tensions ran high. The next morning, the two sides met downstairs. They sized each other up. Although they all knew in their hearts who the other was, no one dared to make a move. Just as the situation grew increasingly tense, Jasmine stepped in and skillfully defused the situation. Then, a whole roasted lamb was brought to the table. Jasmine even showed them the cook's knife skills. With a single vertical slice, The lamb was neatly divided. The Eastern Depot, unsure of Zachary's connection to the inn, decided to investigate further that night. Zachary, with the situation outside unclear and burdened with 2 children, making them too conspicuous, did not dare to act rashly. He decided to search the inn for a secret passage. So, at night, they exchanged blows again. Zachary managed to steal the Eastern Depot's pass. The Eastern Depot also tried to ambush them, but Molly arrived just in time. Not only did she repel the attackers, but she also left a mark on one's forehead. Meanwhile, Charles's main force was approaching the Dragon Gate Inn. Time was running out, and they still hadn't found the secret passage. To avoid further complications, Zachary decided to leave immediately. A battle was imminent. Just as the 2 sides were about to clash, the military commander guarding the border burst in. The commander didn't know who either side was, but he thought Zachary looked very much like the wanted criminal in the portrait. Molly produced the stolen pass, but the commander was still skeptical. Jasmine secretly added something to the portrait on the pass, shifting the attention to the Eastern Depot. While they were distracted, Zachary went to look for the secret passage. He accidentally fell into the passage in the kitchen. Jasmine had feelings for him all along. She told Zachary that there was indeed a secret passage, but he had to pay the price not only in money but also in affection. To find out the location of the secret passage, Zachary had no choice but to agree to her request. They were to be married. Jasmine even asked the head chief to be their witness, just to make it difficult for Zachary to escape. That night, Jasmine made arrangements inside and outside the inn. They were married. In the bridal chamber, Zachary and Jasmine played their parts. Zachary wanted to know the location of the secret passage, but Jasmine wanted to consummate the marriage first. Downstairs, Molly and the others challenged the Eastern Depot to a drinking contest. Watching the man she loved marry another, Molly, heartbroken, used the opportunity to drown her sorrows. To their surprise, the Eastern Depot had also discovered the location of the secret passage. The head chief found Jasmine and offered her 10,000 taels of silver to stop Zachary and the others from escaping. Downstairs, the others finally lost their patience. Both sides drew their weapons and fought. After a chaotic battle, the inn's waiter was accidentally killed by the Eastern Depot. Jasmine didn't care about the chaos outside. She only wanted to protect herself and the Dragon Gate Inn in these troubled times. Enraged, she broke off all pretenses and attacked the Eastern Depot. In the end, she joined forces with Zachary and killed the 2 division chiefs of the Eastern Depot. She herself became a wanted criminal of the Eastern Depot. Molly escaped from the inn with the children, but ran into Charles's main force. Several of her companions were shot down by arrows. Molly herself was seriously injured and fled back to the inn with the children. In the blink of an eye, Charles's army arrived. They surrounded the Dragon Gate Inn. At this critical moment, Jasmine opened the secret passage and led the cook, Zachary, and the others to escape through it. However, a fluttering silk ribbon exposed their location. Charles and his men pursued them relentlessly. Jasmine used hidden weapons to eliminate a group of soldiers. Zachary fought Charles while urging the others to go on ahead. Molly and Jasmine also joined the fight. Charles's martial arts skills were formidable. They were all injured one after another. The desert weather was unpredictable. In an instant, a sandstorm whipped up. Everyone was buried in the quicksand. Taking advantage of their immobility, Charles attacked. Molly was stabbed by a sword while trying to save Zachary and was buried forever in the desert. Zachary was devastated. Jasmine, to avenge Molly, stepped forward and fought Charles. Unable to match him, she was struck. Zachary stepped forward and blocked a blow for her. Both of them were seriously injured. They were on the verge of death. At that critical moment, the cook, to protect Jasmine, emerged from the quicksand, wielding his cleaver. He caught Charles off guard. Years of deboning and chopping meat at the inn had honed his knife skills to perfection. After a series of swift moves, Charles was stunned. The flesh on his left foot and hand had been cleanly sliced off. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare. Zachary seized the opportunity and finished him off with Molly's parent-child swords. In the end, Zachary decided to leave behind the conflicts and went beyond the border. Jasmine set fire to the Dragon Gate Inn and followed him. New Dragon Gate Inn, a pioneering work of martial arts cinema, vividly portrays the battles and vendettas of the pugilistic world. It is definitely a classic film worthy of being treasured. The outstanding performances of Tony Leung, Maggie Cheung, Bridget Lin, and others have made Dragon Gate Inn an insurmountable classic. From the vast desert to the chivalrous vendettas, every scene is worth savoring and reminiscing. Where there are people, there is the pugilistic world. In troubled times, love is a luxury. Better to forget each other in the pugilistic world than to be together. A legend belonging to Zachary, Molly, and Jasmine. The story and spirit of Dragon Gate Inn will be passed down through the ages. So, who is your favorite character in the film? Leave a comment below and let's discuss. This is Kung Fu Movie Recaps from YouTube. Until next time.